Hey guys, John Conley from UncleJohnSoap.com. Today is sort of a dual installment. One of them is shaving soap related, shameless plug. Anyway, the other part is part of my series that I haven't touched on in a while, Don't Be a Jerk. And sometimes it's that people don't know these things. Sometimes it's that people do and ignore them. In a lot of cases, it's the latter. So this is about the artisan / shave gear pass-arounds that a lot of the different Facebook groups have. And in a lot of them, there is a note that says, it has instructions how to handle everything, keep everything clean, and do it right so that everybody doesn't get messed up product after several people have tried it out. So, I got a couple pointers for y'all today. And thanks to Daniel Idzan, who, and I think I'm saying that right since he sent me a recording of his last name. We were having a little short discussion this morning and got this idea for a new video, so thank you for that. First thing I got, when you open the box, open it careful. You don't have to destroy the box to get into it. A sharp utility blade or a razor blade. You guys are shavers, sweat shavers. You've got razor blades all over the place. If you don't have a single edge, double edge will work. You know, a little piece of cardboard and some masking tape on one side. After you know it's not sharp enough to cut your face, you got a perfect box cutter. Open it careful. Come on, guys. I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to repack that box for the most part and ship it off nice and clean. Cover over the old label with the new label. Another thing, some pass-arounds require a couple bucks to be put in towards future shippings or to reimburse the artisan. All kinds of different reasons. I haven't seen many of those lately, but you know what? If part of the deal was to throw a couple bucks in the box in an envelope when you're passing it along, just do it. I mean, come on, man. If you got enough money to, you know, participate in most of the wet shaving activities on these groups, you got enough money to put a couple bucks in the box. Third thing, if some pass-arounds have a deal where you can take something out, but you have to put something back in. If that's part of the deal, follow it. Come on, you know. Or if you don't have something to put back in, write a little note and put a few bucks in. Something. And explain that to the person who's administering the pass-around beforehand so that they know and you guys can come to an agreement. You know, a lot of this is just common sense and common courtesy, and most of you guys have it. Another thing, don't hold the box forever. You know that you're supposed to have it out in a certain amount of time. You know, if you're traveling, and I know sometimes you don't know exactly when you're going to get that box, even if you do know the list and you know the batting order. But as soon as you get a chance, if that box has been sitting at your house waiting for 2 or 3 days, and then you get home from your business trip or whatever, scoop out whatever you're going to scoop out and then pass the box on. You know, label it for yourself and then try it when you get a chance. Don't hold it for, you know, a week or two. I think the limit on most of them is a week from the time you get it to the time you put it back in the mail. So, you know, try to be courteous to other people. It takes long enough, you know, to get that thing passed around and done. So, thievery. Should never have to say this, but this is a courtesy that most artisans will donate products for a box. You know, maybe, you know, it's an East Coast box, so it's East Coast artisans, and we do a pass around, and it could go all over the country, it could go into Canada, who knows. But, you know, for people to take entire jars of soap out of the box and then mail it on, that's theft. If you keep the box and never pass it on and stop answering the instant messages from the admins, yeah, you're a thief. Most of the time that's dealt with pretty quickly, and those people are pretty much shunned from every community around. Soap jars, when you get these, they're usually in really good shape when the first person gets them. Brand new, maybe might have been open to get a sniff, but there's a couple things. One, nobody wants to get a soggy jar of soap. They don't want the hairs from your face. They don't want the hairs from the brush in there. They don't want, you know, I don't know how well the germs translate from face to brush to jar, whatever. Here's what you do. You open the jar. Don't bloom the soap. If you want to bloom the soap, bloom it in your mug. See how easy that scoops out? Scoop a little bit out. Then you can take your fingers, smush it in your mug. If you want to bloom it a little bit, you can. Most of the time after you've scraped it, most of them don't need it. However you handle it from that point on is fine. You've left a clean jar. You guys know who you are. Aftershave bottles. Now, most of them will have a reducer in the neck so that you don't use a ton. Don't use the whole bottle. You know, it doesn't take much. It's an aftershave splash. It's to heal your skin and all that. Yeah, some of it's for smell, but really, aftershave is not meant to last all day. That's a cologne or a perfume or whatever. This is mainly to help heal your skin right after you've shaved and condition it. Don't use half a bottle for yourself. You know, most of the time these pass-arounds have a minimum of 20 people in them. You're spreading this for 20 people. So, you know, be kind. It's just a sampler. When you get ready to ship this back to the next person in line, make sure the cap's tight. Mine has a safety seal. So when you crack it, that ring's going to stay on there just like a soda bottle. Just make sure the cap's tight. Now watch closely. Tape the cap. These bottles, even though the caps are pretty decent and it keeps the liquid from coming out when you tighten it, when these go in the mail, whether they're flying, especially when they're flying, or in a mail truck where you have warm days, cool nights, things like that, pressure changes will tend to cause this cap to loosen up in transit. Then what happens is it's laying on its side in the box and it leaks all over. Now everything smells like this aftershave. It may ruin some labels. It definitely wastes aftershave. And sometimes the mail people will confiscate stuff because now you've got an aftershave. They're not so worried about mine because it's not alcohol based. The alcohol based does not go on a plane. Trust me, it's all ground. In the US anyway. So here's what you do. Almost every guy I know has a roll of electrical tape, even if it's for what, just to have it. Even if they don't do electrical work, it's like duct tape. It's a good thing to have. Tape the cap. It's simple. Now watch. I have the tape started, and you're going to go in the direction of tightening the cap. I start up on the cap. I start up here so that it covers the cap, and you stretch it as you pull it on to seal all these little ribs here so that if that cap ever does loosen up, which I doubt it will at this point, I come around so that it's overlapped itself, and then I start creeping down onto the bottle. And I'm putting tension on this and stretching the tape. And then just tear it off. There's a little bit of you can see a little bit of a tab there, so it's easy for the next person to find and peel off. This will keep it sealed, keep the cap from loosening up. It takes 2 seconds, guys. Don't ruin it for everybody else by not following directions. In fact, I know for a fact that in some pass-around boxes, not only are there written instructions that tell you how to do this, but they put a roll of tape in the box. If blades are part of the pass-around, and there's only a couple packs of blades in there of the same brand, take one blade, don't take 3. This is not your personal supply. This is to test. If a new blade comes out from a manufacturer, like when the Rockwell blades in the black box came out again, I don't know how long ago, but I just discovered them a few months ago. I sent a few around for people to check out. You know, but this is not to help you boost your supply to save you money. This is to sample the blade and try it out. Take one blade. Packaging the box. When you pack the box to get it ready to ship, for the most part, the packing material that was in it should be good enough to go back in the box to reship. Now sometimes the box gets lighter and lighter, or if it's something where you're taking little sample jars out where you're allowed to do that, the box will get lighter over time, and the package, it will need a smaller box. if you're going to repackage it in a new box, that's fine, but make sure it's packed right. You know, if there was bubble wrap around the bottle, put bubble wrap back around the bottle. Do what you can to try to make it pleasant for the next person in line. Again, common sense, little courtesy, it goes a long way. So anyway, don't be a jerk. Treat it right. That way we can keep having pass-arounds and everybody gets to try something different that they may not have bought originally because, you know, they've already got 50 jars of soap. But it's fun. I think it's fun for everybody to do and participate in, and the only way to keep it going is to treat it right. Oh, here's something else. Straight razors. If somebody puts a razor, a double edge, single edge, custom, vintage, or a straight vintage or new for people to try out, there's a couple things. One, most of the time you are asked up front to state whether you know how to hone a razor or not. Don't lie. If you can't hone or you've only been honing for a couple weeks, don't do it. Be honest and say, I'd rather not hone. I'd rather not strop. Most of the time they're flexible enough to work it out with you. Don't ruin the edge for the next guy. Be careful with it. Don't get all kinds of soap and water all up in here. Okay? And if you do, make darn sure you clean. And Geo Fatboy does a video on how to maintain your straight razor. Maybe give that a watch. It's a quick search on YouTube, and he's got some really good points about how he dries inside the scales just in case they got wet, and how to give it a light coat of oil when you're done. I mean, you don't need to gob it on. It's not farm equipment, you know, but just a light coating, just enough to keep it from building up any rust or pitting. If you drop it, and it does happen, you know, sometimes when you're opening it, it gets awkward and weird, and it just falls out of your hand. Stuff happens, guys. I get it. If it slips out of your hand and hits the sink, whether you see it or not, there's a good chance that it did something to this edge. Be honest. Be upfront. Get a hold of the admin that night. Shoot him a Facebook message and say, look, I dropped the razor. It didn't break, but I want to let you know I dropped it. If you don't have a scope or a loop, you're not going to know whether it cracked it or not. It does happen. It's pretty rare. But if you did do it, own up to it. Don't just stick it in the box and pass it on. I mean, you're going to pass it on, but don't do it without at least giving people a heads up. The double-edged razors and stuff that they send around to try out the new designs and stuff, take care of them. Rinse it and dry it off really well when you're done. And make sure it's totally been dry before you pack it back up and ship it. Don't ship it wet. That just sucks. Treat it like it's yours. And if you treat your stuff like crap, maybe you shouldn't be in the pass-around. So, if you have any pointers that you'd like to put in about the pass-arounds, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, whether this is on Facebook, YouTube, Google+, anything. Just go ahead and leave it down below and add it yourself, and I'm sure people will read it. And I'm sure there's stuff that I missed. I can't catch everything. I'm lucky I found my way to the store this morning. Alright guys, have a great afternoon. See ya.